Hi, so today I want to talk about the importance of the arts to support not just children with learning needs, but all children basically. The importance of the arts in education. I was inspired because I listened to an article on the news today about drumming and about the benefits that has for mental health and physical health. The idea that it sort of gets the brain and the physical working together. It's stimulating. It goes back to the heartbeat of being within the womb. There were all sorts of fascinating things, amazing studies being done. It was presented as something new. I would say it's not that new. Over 45 years ago, there was a documentary about the children at Ravenswood, who predominantly were those with quite severe autism. And there was a whole programme on how the music supported them. There have been programmes on music and deaf people. We have, for those who watch Strictly, we have a performer at the moment. I don't know where everybody's at with Strictly, but certainly while I've been watching it on catch up, a performer who's deaf. She's an actress and she's doing the dance, and she can't hear the music as everyone else, but there's vibration she can feel, but she's also having to tune in with her partner physically to sort of understand it. Some of the moves she's counting. And it's really doing her a lot of good. So it touches everybody. The idea that music is only for the hearing is certainly not true. There have been some amazing deaf musicians, and I'm not just talking about Beethoven here. The articles around mental health benefits and working with people with autism and music and all the rest of it, they abound. Okay, this is not a new thing, and if you go to Google Scholar, you'll find loads of articles about it. It's a mood changer. It's a stimulant. It can be used to facilitate social engagement. There's so many aspects of the moment I'm talking specifically about music that can support those with learning needs. Just drawing on my own experience, I was working with a child who was living away from home. He was boarding at the school I was working at, and it was as though he was in a sleep. Nothing seemed to get through. Nothing aroused him. Nothing motivated him. Nothing got him to join in. He was just sort of constantly in this sort of low level. And we were going to a concert, and it was one of those concerts for children, and we actually were late. We'd had this awful coach ride. It'd all gone wrong. We got in after the concert started. We got to our seats. We sat down. I was sitting next to this particular child. This child would have been 9 or 10. And as we sat down, the drums started, and it was really boom, 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 the sort of the kettle drums, the bass drums, all this really very strong drumming happened. And I literally watched this child wake up. It was as though this child had been in some sort of stupor, and suddenly this child just came alive. You could see it in every fibre. You could see it in his face. You could see it in his body. He was attentive. He was sitting forwards, and he was just there. And we had him captured for this whole concert. It was just phenomenal. Afterwards, I happened to be on the coach home, sitting next to a music teacher, just the way it happened to be. And this teacher knew that the drum teacher, because I said, it'd be amazing if this child could have drum lessons. As it happens, the drum teacher, the peripatetic drum teacher, was also a music therapist. So it was a match made in heaven. We got this child having these drum lessons, and this child blossomed. This child came out of himself. This child just flourished in every way. And it was literally done through a drum beat. Absolutely incredible, which demonstrates just the power of music. And these are areas that are being cut from the curriculum. One of my students, on one of the courses I teach, has recently withdrawn from the course because his subject, which is music, has just been pared down so much that he can't actually fulfill the requirements of the course. It's just heartbreaking to see somebody with this so much to offer just stepping away from his own sort of development and learning because he's got to focus on trying to build this up in the school. These are areas that are being cut, whatever we're told. The reality is speak to a teacher, speak to people in schools, we know these are areas that are being cut back, and this is actually not good for our children. Other areas of the arts, art itself. I've talked before about Rosie Mackman, amazing artwork that she does. She does hers on the computer, having the laptop, and when stressed, this is somebody with autism, when stressed, being able to get on with the artwork and managing to focus the whatever the subject is we're teaching, managing to draw it into the art, would calm her down. It just enabled this person to focus, so Rosie could focus. It gave her a sort of mindfulness, was a distraction from everything else that was stressing her and building her up. You'd see her body go from the tense, I can't, to just calming as she got on with her art. Why would we deny people that? It's so important. We think about it in a wider sense. Look at the amount of books in shops at the moment on mindfulness and colouring, adult colouring books. There is a sense that as you do that colouring, it is calming. We have at the moment within schools this greater stress on social, emotional, mental health. Okay? What's interesting is the behaviour aspect has been taken out. I've said this before, because there is supposed to be this understanding that behaviour is a form of communication. So it's important to acknowledge where the behaviour is coming from. If there's behaviours that are difficult to accommodate within the classroom, why is that behaviour there? What can we do? What is that communicating to us? Well, looking at loads of articles about SEND, about special educational needs, again, going through Google Scholar today, there is an awful lot about the way that music, art, drama, these all address aspects of special educational needs. They bring together the social, the behavioural, the cognitive and the sensory, and give gains. You get gains from this. So, socially there is the interaction. There is the ability to communicate through the artwork, through the music, to actually put across what you're thinking, what you're feeling. It will stimulate things. It will change the mood. So somebody who is feeling a lot of inner frustrations can get that, work through it with art, with drama. You think about the therapies that are now available: art therapy, drama therapy, Lego therapy, play therapy. All of these things, music therapy, they're all out there. They need people who are trained within them. It's not for us to, I'm a Senko, but that doesn't mean I'm a music therapist. It doesn't mean I'm a behaviour therapist or any other type of therapist for that matter. So it's important that the right expertise is brought in. But if we have these basic arts properly established in the curriculum for everybody, not just for people with special needs, and certainly not excluding those with special educational needs, but having those firmly on the curriculum, you have the basis, the foundations for the arts that are there, and then that for those who actually require it as a therapy, the behaviour therapist, the art therapist, the drama therapist, the music therapist, etc. For those who are using it as a therapy, they have a foundation on which to build. There's an understanding. This can then come back into the classroom. It's a to and fro. It works both ways. There's a flow to it. So we need these arts in our curriculum. I can't stress it enough. And if we don't have the therapy background, we can still use them in school as a way of just allowing things to be. They will stimulate. They will change moods. They will facilitate social engagement. They will change behaviours because they will allow for these expressions. There is a strong connection between aspects of the art and music, especially with music, correlation between those and the sciences, for example. When I was at school, they were distinct sections. You had the arts, you had the sciences, you had the languages, and so on, the humanities. Actually, art, music, all supports science. There's numerical stuff. There's, it supports maths. it supports literacy. It's incredible how much it supports, and yet it's just dismissed. It supports the cognition, the learning, the knowledge that is required to pass the exams, pass the tests, get the nice grades that we all want to see. Ofsted want these grades. Ofsted want more than that. A lot of people say we haven't got time for that because of the grades. But actually, Ofsted drill down. Ofsted want to know what's underpinning your curriculum, what's your thought process. So there is no reason to sideline the arts. They are essential, and I've said it before, during the past, coming up for now nearly 2 years, where we've had so much social disengagement because of COVID and how that's affected people, these are needed more than ever. We've realised that we actually need our music, we need our art, we need to be able to play out situations in order to understand them. Go back to early years and you will see in EYFS you have the arts always. I've never seen an EYFS classroom that doesn't involve the arts. There is a lot of drawing and painting and splatter and mess, and it's fantastic. There's a lot of learning through that. There's a lot of sensory learning as well when you think of actual artwork and sound and water play. All of this comes into the arts. There's a lot of social engagement. Think of Vygotsky and the need for scaffolding and the need for social interaction. That's all there within all of the arts. You can't have the arts without this sort of social interaction. It's important, and it is the foundation for the cognitive learning that is then going to happen. So this is essential. If we are going to progress our children, we have to have the arts. We can't sideline the arts. Look at the articles, listen to the various programmes that have been around on it, and let's have the arts back in our schools in full force. Thank you.